What's up, guys? It's Anthony for Progress Madden, and I hope you're enjoying the 43 over odd defensive ebook that I posted on my channel last week. If you don't know that I posted it, take a look at the description. There's a link to the playlist. The playlist is a 13-video comprehensive guide for the 43 over odd formation. You can find this formation in the Atlanta book, which is the book that I like to use, as well as several other books such as the New England Patriots, Cleveland Browns, and the Buffalo Bills. But today's video, we're going to take a look at a variation of what I present in the 43 over odd defense, which is the contain blitz. And for those of you who don't know anything about the history of the contain blitz, it started in Madden 10, in which players would use the 46 normal, and they would take the middle linebacker and the right outside linebacker on the screen. Both guys were shaded over the offensive guards, and they would put them on contains to the outside. And what these contains did is they would suck up the offensive tackles, allowing the defensive ends to come free off the edge if you re-blitz them. Now, in the 43 over odd guide that I posted, we're doing a slightly different variation of it, in which we're going to contain a defensive tackle to the outside and then re-blitz the defensive end further outside of him to allow the pressure to come in off the edge. In this defense that I'm going to show you today, we're going to go even with a more different variation of the contain blitz. And like I said, we're going to look at this nickel strong and the sugar 3 seam as the play. Now, the sugar 3 seam is the nickel strong is a scheme that was posted in its entirety on the Gamers Lab by YouTube commentator named Misery. It's a very popular defense this year. What I would say is probably the most popular defense. I've seen it in money games on Saloon. I've seen it in lab games against random players. I've seen it in league games. And I've seen it in other players' games, as well as like at the New Jersey tournament, the Atlanta tournament. It's a very popular defense this year. But if you're not familiar with it, the Misery setup. Base align, bump and run, crash line out, shift linebackers to the right. And this is going to bring edge heat. If you want to bring the right edge, you must re-blitz the right of screen defensive end, and you're going to lurk with a variety of players. You can lurk with the strong safety over here on the right slot, or you can lurk with the middle linebacker, or you can lurk with the free safety. Doesn't really matter. You just switch up your zones behind it. And like I said, well, we didn't have the linebacker close enough. If that linebacker floats away, you have to manually move him back. So we'll do this again. Crash line out, re-blitz the end, and double edge heat comes in off, both edges, obviously. And that's pretty much the protocol. Send 6, get 2 edges free, so that way the offense has to block 7 to pick it up. If you're only going to send 1 edge, you need to send 3, or a maximum of 4 guys to get the pressure. So that's pretty much the rules, or the unwritten rules of blitzing in Madden. And what I really like about this defense is that it's very consistent and very fast pressure. I found that if you were to bring just the left edge, the pressure gets in at about 1.66 seconds. But if you don't blitz that right of screen defensive end, the tackle can sometimes slide over. Now, what I did in that example was I contained him, and sometimes that works, so we'll do it again. Crash out, contain, and do something like so. And the pressure comes in. 1.66 seconds is very fast. The variation that I'm going to show you comes in at 1.54 seconds. Now, that doesn't seem like a big difference, but 1.2 tenths of a second is the difference between maybe your opponent getting the ball out and your opponent taking a sack. Now, I'm not trying to take away from Misery's defense, because without his defense, I probably don't come up with this front and then try to tweak it. So definitely check out Misery. His link is in the description. But for now, I'm going to show you the variation that I came up with. So we're going to do the exact same front as Misery's defense that he posted. And we're going to re-blitz the defensive end on the right, very much the same. And the only difference is we're going to, rather than letting this player rush, and there's Misery, we're going to contain this player. And then when the ball is snapped, you're going to get right edge and left B gap. And of course, the first try, it never works. But it is consistent. Let's try again. Base align, bump and run, crash line out, shift linebackers right, contain. You're going to get right edge and left B gap. Now the right edge is obviously the fastest pressure of the form, but the problem is that most players will call shotgun formations to the right side of the quarterback, and if they block the running back, the right edge is not going to come in untouched. What I like is that with this setup, if they are to block the running back, the left edge comes in that 1.52 seconds. And that's, 1.2 tenths of a second faster. And furthermore, we'll look at Ryan Kerrigan. In the typical example, Ryan Kerrigan rushes to the outside and engages with the tackle. In this example, he's playing a contain. Now, that's great because you're taking him away from the number of guys that you're actually blitzing, and he kind of plays a pseudo coverage. If they run a slip screen, he'll cover it. If they throw, a drag to the left seam, he's there to make a play on it. Sometimes even gets a fluky interception. It's very nice because he's being taken out of the rush. You're only sending, well, in this example, you're sending, I believe, 5. Yes, you're sending 5 because we accidentally blitzed that linebacker. But if you just want to send one edge, you can do so. So we'll contain both defensive ends and put Fletcher into a purple zone. Now, they snap the ball, the left edge or left B gap, depending on where you have that player placed, comes in 1.2 tenths of a second faster, and you're taking this player and sitting him out here in this flat to play a contain on the quarterback, or make a play on a drag, or a pick on a drag possibly, depending on when they throw it. So take a look at this setup. Again, it's base align, bump and run, crash line out, contain both defensive ends if you only want to send one edge, and then do whatever you want with Fletcher. You can man him up, zone him, doesn't really matter. Sometimes I'll put him in a flat or a purple. And then just make sure that this player right here is not too close to the defensive end, because if he's too close, he'll run into a lineman. And then when they snap the ball, get that left B gap heat with 2 contains. So take a look at that. If you like the tip, drop a line. Be sure to check out Misery's channel. He's got more than just the nickel strong. He's got a lot of commentaries. He's a funny guy. Make sure to drop a sub to him as well. Thank him for the tips. And until then, get in the lab and good luck.